Alright, so Battlefield 1 has been in open beta for a little while already, and I had the chance to play it a lot. I must say, I like the game. First of all, I really like the game. Even though it doesn't really feel historically accurate, it's still pretty enjoyable to play, but I still have a couple of problems with it. The first thing, let's talk about weapons. You see, there's a lot of choice of weapons, but no matter in the open beta whether you are with the Ottomans or the British Empire, you have exactly the same loadout of weapon. And I don't really get it. Why? If you look at previous Battlefield titles, for example 1942, then you had the Germans with Germans weapons, you had the Americans with the American weapons, and you had the British with the Americans weapon too, but you know, it's just placeholder while they released the expansion pack to fix that up, which is a pretty bad foresight if you ask me. But yeah, weapon wise, you need to unlock them so everybody has the same weapons from the start to beginning, and it will just end up that whatever the full game weapon will be down top is the weapons everybody will be using. It feels really historically inaccurate that the Ottoman Empire soldier walking around with Lee Enfields and not Gewehr, and the other way around is the same thing. So a little bit strange on that, but I can understand the thinking behind it. I still have some problem with it. So let's go with the vehicles, alright? So we have a different type of tanks. We have the light tanks, the heavy tanks, the medium tanks, and they're all good, splendid and stuff, but you know, it's just doesn't feel realistic. I mean, I picked the light tanks. It rolls at the speed of light. It murders people at speed of light. It just doesn't feel connected to the first war. It feels more like a World War II tank, to be honest. Like a little Sherman from Battlefield 1942 feels and handle exactly the same, which is not really good. Another problem with these tanks up to now, in the open beta at least, they're all the same. I mean, both sides, the British and the Ottomans, have the same tanks, which is really killing the immersion here. But that's just a minor problem, probably placeholders. That's what I will be led to believe until you see that there's a DLC for the Renault tank, the French tank, which is just even more worse foresight of what's upcoming for the game. There's another trouble I have with the weapons themselves. Literally, every single weapons of every class feels not good because they're all automatic. I mean, I understand the automatic weapon appeared during that period. I do have a lot of interest in the Great War, but it's just not normal that it is the norm and bolt action rifles are not all over the place like they should be. Really makes you feel disensitised from the actual Great War, but still a minor gripe up to now. There's also the planes that I feel a bit problematic here. The aerial warfare was at its birth during the Great War. It went through a lot of change. Started off from simple reconnaissance plane to full-fledged bombers and attack planes, and we can feel that in the game, but the control is just absurd. Even the planes themselves, how they pilot, is not natural. I played a lot of War Thunder, and it's really an instinct to pilot a plane in this game in arcade mode, which I feel should be reciprocated into Battlefield 1, but it is not. You start off with the yaw and the roll maneuver assigned wrongly. You yaw with the A and D and you roll with the mouse, which just isn't natural at all. So I inverted that, and you also have the Y-axis of the mouse that's inverted, so the first time I took a plane I crashed it in a matter of seconds. So that's just minor complaints. Once you get the handle, it feels very good to play around with these planes, but there's just one last problem. I understand the game is arcade-ish, but these planes were made of wood, and what happened is you can really do whatever. They never seem to be limited by their physical structure and fuselage. When you get engaged in combat, it feels extremely out of place. You gun down another plane, it just takes way too much stuff to destroy it. But then still, it's still an arcade game. So I can't really blame EA or DICE for that. It's kind of normal to try balance the game. And one last thing that really touches me is in one of the beta trailer, release trailer, whatever, the game trailer, there is a mention of Lawrence of Arabia. Let's watch it.
The legend of Lawrence of Arabia dies tonight.
You see the problem here, it's not very clear what they're trying to do, but from my understanding is that Lawrence of Arabia is a girl. And I'll be truthfully honest with you. I mean, I can understand that you want to change the composition of the army so that their nationality is different than what probably was there in real life. I can understand that to be more inclusive in modern world, modern society, but changing the sex from someone that fought into the war and that is a well-known person out of this war, I feel like this is really starting to tip the vase here, EA and DICE. This is getting a bit ridiculous if you ask me. And you want to know what's really ridiculous with this game? Look at that! $160! What the fuck, man? Okay, I can understand you're greedy, EA. You greedy pigs. I understand that. But $160 for basically what is Battlefield 4 with skin, with old guns and old tanks and old planes. It's just not worth it. That should be a mode, right? You know, when you release Battlefield 1942, people for free made a lot of mods. Desert Combat, that's a modern setting. For Vietnam, it was Forgotten Hope. These modes were free and literally changed the game from A to Z. And now with Battlefield 1, we take Battlefield 4, we change, we tune up a little bit the skins, the guns, the tanks, and we get a brand new game that we sell $160. And not only are we selling the game $160, but you're charging for the French and the Russians. I mean, seriously, you're fucking kidding me right now, right? Have you looked at the casualties rate? Do you understand that the Russians and the French people were the main core of the allies of the Triple Entente? They fought for their liberty, they fought for their freedom, and yet, how do you pay respect to them? You bill us to be able to play as them. And right now, I think EA, you're full of shit, honestly. And DICE, you're full of shit also. I like the game. I really want to play it. I really want to buy it. But I cannot do it because that will go against my own instinct. And honestly, let's face it. Let's all accept it. All agree on what's gonna happen with Battlefield 1. In 2 years, there will be like 1,000 people playing. Nothing more. The game lacks substance. The game is empty. And I've only played one map, but you have the chance to experience pretty much everything that will be available in the base version. Because, let's face it, if you want more, get your wallet out. Unless you bought the $160. If you paid $100 less, then you're gonna need to pay all the time to keep up to date and play with the people and get all the weapons and everything. So that's exactly the reason why I will not be playing Battlefield 1 more than the open beta. Maybe if it gets free one day, maybe I'll be able to play it. But until then, it just doesn't make me really want to play it. It just disconnects me, and I think that the game lacks in potential here. Actually, I understand what happened behind thinking of Battlefield 1 if you think for it for a moment, right? Here and I sat at a table and was looking at latest Activision Call of Duty game that was to be released. To look through everything, try to find a fault, and see that people really despite future Advanced Warfare's joke. So they said, okay, let's start thinking, what else have we not done? And they said, well, you know, the Great War, it's been 100 years, there's a lot of interest recently, people are paying homage and all of that, so why don't we take a moment to make a game out of that? So both EA and DICE agreed on this, but what ends up happening is they just took Battlefield 4, reskin everything, and released a game. This is a fucking joke. Oh, and kids, don't forget to buy your DLCs, right? Anyway, this is SJ. That was my small gripe with Battlefield 1. Feels better now that I've vented out a little bit how I think about the game. Hopefully that didn't sway your opinion on it. If it did, yeah, sure, let me know. Why not, huh? Let me know. But otherwise, enjoy it if you like it. I mean, the game is good. The gameplay is good. I like the game. I just don't like the way it's managed and the way it interprets the war. I just don't like that it tries to represent the Great War as you know what will happen in 5 years when little kids will be playing this game. They'll think that this is the Great War, and when they'll watch a movie like, I don't know, All Quiet on Western Front 1930, they'll be like, hey, where's my Lewis, man? Where's my Germany Lewis guns? It's a joke. It's a joke. That's all I can say. Let's hope it's a prank, bro. It's just a prank.